Hey guys, this is our production breakdown for Everything Will Be Okay. For those of you who might not have heard of us before, we're Dylan Flynn, the Dead Poets, but I presume most of the people watching this video are going to know who we are. But I said the fact that we produce our own music, it might be cool to give you an insight into how we do it and like what goes into it and what makes up the finished track, I suppose. This song was fully recorded and produced in this room in Limerick City, space that we've had now for just a little under a year. But yeah, fully recorded here, fully produced here, and then it was actually mixed by Mike Gavin, who was one of our lecturers when we were in LIT, and he's a great mixing engineer if anyone needs a hand for him. But yeah, I suppose best thing to do is just jump in. I suppose we should probably start with the drums. Now, I will say from the off that I don't put much processing into my drums in the production stage. I'm just not good at getting drums to sound good, so I leave that to whoever's mixing the track, and in this case it was Mike, and Mike did a great job of it. But just to start off, we have this low mic here, and it was just like a low dynamic mic that we had kind of placed down by the chair when Gavin was playing, and it sounds like this. And there's actually, I definitely affected that, I'd say, and then flattened it out. But yeah, that it's kind of just one that you kind of, it's on its own, it doesn't sound great, but then you mix it in and it sounds a bit better. But if you hear that with then the two room mics, you hear that width kind of come into it. They're panned hard left and right. Both of those were actually ribbon mics that were pushed way back in the room. And then after that, then you have the overheads. And I let you hear them on their that's the overheads on their own. They're a bit more of a tighter sound, but like still kind of doing the same thing as the room. After that, then you have the toms. Probably have to go to like a section here where you hear tom fill. But yeah, that's what the toms sound like. And then got the kick. That's kick and snare together. And just to let you know, like on these, there isn't really any plugins. On the snare, there's a small bit of compression, and on the kick, there's this SK10 adding a bit of sub into the kick. Not much, like just a small bit to kind of fill it out a bit. But yeah, and then there's also this clap here that sounds like that. It's hitting on every second snare. So if I put but yeah, all the drums together then sound like that. And then I have a bit of processing then on the actual drum bus. So we got the drum bus plugin from Ableton, which is great. That's just adding a small bit of low end, some distortion, a bit of drive, and then EQ, taking out some sub, boosting some of the slightly higher subs, taking out some of that kind of 400 range, 500 range, and then kind of giving it a little bit of a top shelf. Some decapitator, adding some saturation. Drum fattener 1 is usually my go-to when I'm throwing on a decapitator on my drums, and then I kind of just edit it from there. And then a bit of RC20, not much, just kind of giving it a 12-bit sound, but like I'm keeping the actual wet dry down a good bit. And then just a bit of utility then, which is just doing some automation. As I said, like I'll play it from here again. That's the full drum sound. If I took all this off, this is what it would sound like. Here it's kind of giving it a bit of volume, just kind of dirtying it up a small bit and kind of giving it a bit more character. But yeah, that's kind of it for the drums. There's a small bit of reverb, and that reverb send is Valhalla Room. All my sends are there. Like I've got a little plate, Valhalla Room, plate I'm using for I think mostly just the vocals, Valhalla Room, Echo Boy, which is doing delay, and Valhalla Shimmer, which I love. That's on a lot of the guitars. That's just kind of like a shimmery reverb that kind of have on a lot of the lead guitars and some of the acoustics, just to give them a high-end sparkle. But I actually took, before I sent it to Mike to mix, I took all those reverb and stuff off. Now he had a rough idea of what was on there, so he kind of knew the vibe I was going for. But I suppose the next thing, I suppose I'll show you the bass first before I show you that. But yeah, this bass would have been played by me. That's the drums. Here's the bass. And yeah, that's the tuner. Take that out. But yeah, again, just taking out a small bit of sub. This one here, this comes in the chorus, this EQ, and the reason that comes in is because a sub actually comes in from this Moog emulation, and that comes in the chorus, and I didn't want the frequencies clashing. So you can even see here on the Moog, I've actually cut out everything above 100, and on the bass then I'm cutting out everything below 100 then. And other than that, there's just compression and some tal chorus. There's tal chorus all over this. It's a free chorus plugin, but it's literally all over this production. And then this utility is just monoing the bass, so it doesn't get too wide and phasey. But if you want to listen to like both of them together, you can kind of hear it there. You can turn on and off the sub. You probably won't be able to hear it if you're listening on a phone without headphones. Very subtle difference, but yeah, so that's kind of it for the bass. Then there's nothing on the bus, like, but you want to hear the bass and drums together, then this is what you got. You can hear that sub kind of come in there and feel like extend out that low end. But yeah, actually something I could probably show you now that we're looking at that section is, so into kind of each chorus and the outro of this track there is risers. So this is like the first one, and I made that, so that's just a reverse cymbal, and then I used this distortion plugin called Crush, which I'm pretty sure is also free, and it has this modulating kind of LFO thing that allows you to modulate the distortion, so it kind of gives it that sound. And I also have some Valhalla Supermassive, some Bit Crusher, an auto filter, some delay to kind of give it some width, and a flanger that doesn't come in on this one, comes in later on. But they all kind of sound slightly different. The second one sounds like this, and the third one is when the phaser comes in. Third one isn't that much different to the second one, it's just bringing in phaser, like. But yeah, when you listen to that mixed in with the drums and the bass coming in here, this is what it sounds like. Oh, it was on there, I'll just turn it up, but you couldn't really hear it. So it just kind of leads you into the chorus. Why isn't that working? Okay, I'll do that. But anyway, so that's the risers, low end, and drums. I suppose then we go on to the riffs. So there's a few different guitar riffs in this. I'll just run through them quickly. Again, I'll just show you the EQ on the bus. Like, it's just taking out everything kind of up to like 200, and then giving it a boost around 3, 4, 5k, kind of getting all the frequencies in around there, just to give the lead guitar some more bite. But so this is the first one, and this is double tracked, and again, look, tal chorus. There's tal chorus all over this. Like, these are panned hard left and right, and this is what they sound like. Just a sparkly kind of picked riff that kind of comes in the chorus, and then they're all the riffs that you hear in the verse, and there's this one which leads you into the chorus, and then the chorus you have again a picked riff, and then this section here is just the same as the intro, with just an extra riff underneath it. And again, all these kind of just have tal chorus and small bits of compression and EQ. Not much, because again, I wanted to leave most of that to Mike in the mixing stage. Probably the most interesting part of like the guitar and the riffs and stuff is when in the second verse, when this glockenspiel sound and the string sound come in together. So this is what, so it's this guitar, and then it gets complemented by these. So yeah, and then again chorus riff, and then a load of the riffs kind of all come together in the very, very end, and this is what they sound like. If anyone's wondering what the glockenspiel and string plugins are, it's actually BBC Symphony Orchestra from Spitfire, which is actually also free. Now, if you want to get it for free, you have to like wait a month. You have to like fill in a survey and then wait a month, and they send it out to you. Or you can buy it for like 50 quid or something like that, but I got it for free. And it has like literally everything you can think of in the orchestra, and it gives you loads of control as well. It sounds really, really good. But yeah, that's what that sounds like. Then I suppose next thing we should probably look at is the acoustics. And again, the acoustics are fairly simple. It's just stuff layered. Like in the intro, if you have heard the song, it's kind of, there's a radio filter on it, and then everything comes in. So what you're hearing there is an acoustic riff, which sounds like this. And then that's being complemented by these acoustic guitar buses. And that sounds like a 12 string, but what it actually is my regular acoustic, which sounds like this. And then that is being complemented by these high acoustics, which is just a regular acoustic guitar, but it's strung with in Nashville tuning, which is basically the bottom two strings are the same, but the top four strings are an octave up for what they'd usually be. So you get this sound, and altogether it sounds like this. So then if you listen to like the riffs, the bass, and the drum, like all that together, this is what it sounds like. So that's everything that we've heard so far. And the next thing then is these really heavy electric guitars, which are definitely inspired by 90s anthems, mostly My Bloody Valentine. But just listen. Yeah, they're super heavy, but mixed in all together, it sounds really, really nice. Another thing that comes in there in the intro as well are these ahs, which there are. Sorry, I should actually say, I'd go back to these heavy electrics. So basically, these were recorded straight on my amp, which is over there, and it was my Telecaster going into a Big Muff pedal, fuzz pedal, and then just recorded that with an SM57 straight out of the amp, and then you just got some EQ here, some Valhalla shimmer as adding that kind of sparkly kind of reverb, and that utility is adding 1 dB of gain for some reason. I'm not sure why, 'cause it's not even automated, but yeah, and then they're double tracked and they're panned left and right. If you could just hear them, that's the right one, or left one, that's the right one. One's actually slightly louder than the other, I don't know why, but yeah. And then yeah, going back to the ahs, so I recorded how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sets of ahs all together, and they sound like this. You can hear the track bleed into my ears, because I was definitely wearing my headphones way too loud. But yeah, you've got, again, on this tal chorus, there's chorus all over this. It's kind of what gives it its kind of fun and kind of sparkly sound, and again some Valhalla shimmer, and that mixed in then with the heavy guitars, acoustics, the riffs, the low end, the risers, the drums. So yeah, I suppose if we're still looking at might as well just look at this from the start. But the very, very start of the song, you hear this. And basically what that is just ambience that I got online of a car. So it sounds like you're driving in a car. And then this radio static that I've just chopped up to make it sound like I'm tuning through radios, which if you've watched the music video, you'd see that we replicated that. And then just a 707 crash reversed with a similar treatment with crush and bit crusher, distorting it and modulating it. So again, as it sounds, all that comes in together. It sounds like this. As I said, you got the radio kind of sounding guitars as well, and it all comes together to do this. Is there anything on that bus? No, there's nothing really there. So I suppose then something that kind of runs the whole way through the track are these drones. So I'll solo them for a second. So there's this. So this first drone you're hearing is, I'm not sure what the original source was, but it's definitely made in Paul Stretch, which is this plugin software kind of thing. You can get it as a plugin, but I use it as like a separate thing outside of Ableton. And it basically allows you to take a sound and stretch it loads and like fade it in a weird way so it all sounds cohesive. So I'd say this was initially a guitar or a riff that is stretched loads and sounds like this. And that's just layered throughout the whole track. In the chorus, what's it do here? It goes up, gets pitched up. But yeah, both those are being sidechained to the kick. Or is it the whole kit? No, just the kick, which you can hear there. It's pumping. It's pumping. But so yeah, that's layered with these, with some other drones. This little flutter one that I actually don't remember putting in, but when I was looking at this before I started making the breakdown, I found it. I do not remember putting that in, but look, it's in there, and I can't even actually hear it in the final mix, so I don't know if Mike took it out or not, but we'll see. As I said, these high-end ones then come in the chorus, just to give a bit of high-end sparkle. And then in the bridge, there's a few different ones, and we've got Chris's vocal one here as well. So in the bridge, there's actually a few different drones, and this is what it sounds like. And that's Chris's vocal. I don't know what the fuck's on that, because Chris did that in Ableton himself and sent that to me. Is there anything else on these drones? There's Fab Filter Pro Q2. That's definitely just taking out some low end. The other way around. And that's just taking out some high end. And then, yeah, some weird EQs and some reverb. And once again, chorus on this bridge drone. These verse drones is just compression. Grain delay. So this is really cool. This is actually an Ableton plugin. But so on these high ones, if I take this out, the actual drone just sounds like that. But grain delay, the setting I have it on pitches it up an octave and like delays it. So you're hearing the original sound and then an octave up as a delay, like 40 milliseconds later. So that's what that is there. And it just adds that extra bit of sparkle for the chorus, which is really nice. If you listen to that all together with all these, it's kind of hard to hear because it's kind of more so acting as a glue more than anything, but I'll turn it up though. You can kind of hear it there, but it kind of gets coming down, so it's way lower. And then the verses, you can hear it here. But that's down way lower usually. Like, well, in the mix it's down way lower, like. But yeah. So that's where those sit. And then, so yeah, that's the drones. Oh, the keys. So so these are all the bits that you hear in the verses and in the outro. So in the first verse, you hear these, which is BBC Symphony Orchestra once again, and it's the Glockenspiel, and actually no, it's BBC Symphony Orchestra and Labs. So this, oh no, go away. There we go. So you got this soft piano, and it's also Spitfire, also free, and it's one of the nicest pianos ever. But yeah, it's really nice. And together they sound like that, and they just play different motifs. And in the second verse, or the second chorus, you have these. Everything. It's just strengthening the melody in the chorus, and then the outro you got motifs again. But yeah, so those parts, and again, mix them all in together. Drones, acoustics, close this, acoustics, and you have in the verse. And then the second chorus sounds like this. Not as loud in that section, but it's just there kind of supporting it. Yeah, and then here, this is another thing that Chris sent me. So again, I don't have the original source of what this is, but it's some sort of string pad. I don't know what it is. And then I thought it was cool. It might be cool that when it repeats to layer with some vocal ads, so it goes. And there's how many layers of those? A good few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there's this breath, and I bet it's just like. That sounds really weird, I know, but all together, what are these? These are me singing them with, and then the originals. So yeah, and then that all mixed in. Now that actually we've gotten to this, it's probably just easier to mute these for now because we're listening to all of this then. But yeah, this is what this sounds like. Again, it's just something that comes in the second verse to kind of just support because it just so it's not the same thing around and around again. You just want that to happen. Oh, another cool thing that happens in the second verse is these electric guitars, these heavy ones. They do this. They just pan there either side, and they accent the drums as well in that section. So it sounds like. And again, that's another thing that we kind of decided to put in the second verse, just to add a bit of change, like so it's not the same thing over and over again. Then we're on to these party sounds, which are actually from a party in Limerick, from one of the rag weeks or something like that out in Castletroy, but I had to reverse the audio because there was some explicit things being said in the chatter, and I don't think the people who were in it would want me to expose what they were saying. But yeah, that comes in here, and you can hear it. And the reason I put that in there is because in that section I'm talking about like being at a party and like not wanting to be there and wanting to go home and stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of create that atmosphere. So that's what that's doing in there. And now we're on to the fun part, the vocals. So I suppose we'll start with main vocal on the bus. First of all, just compression and fresh air. Here, fresh air, another really cool plugin, also free from Slate Digital. And it's just like a really, really super high EQ where you can boost like the air frequencies, and it really gives a lovely sparkle, especially to vocals, some guitars as well. But I would definitely recommend getting that. But yeah, so listen to this is the vocals on their own. my main vocal.
It took long enough to grow the patience that I've shown.
And then there's 2 duplicates of those panned slightly left and slightly right in the chorus. Then they get a bit wider, but this is what they sound like.
It took long enough to grow the patience that I've shown.
They're just giving them a bit of width. Is there anything else? Those harmonies aren't in anything else in the verse? No, so it's just those in the verse, there's no other vocals. And then in the chorus, you've got this. So
everything will be okay.
And that's actually layered with... Okay, so there's actually loads of layers here. I'll open them all up. Those 2 are... so that doesn't matter. Okay, so... Yeah, let's put the whole thing on. So you got my main vocal, 2 duplicates which are now hard panned left and right. You've got 2 guitar vocoders and a drone vocoder, which are cool. So I'm going to have to turn the guitar on. I think it's the acoustics for this. This is what this sounds like in the chorus, which I really, really think is cool. Like, it really thickens up the vocal in the chorus.
Everything will be okay.
Sec now, why can't you hear that properly? Here we go. So the guitar is being fed into a vocoder, which is like taking the signal of the chord, which is giving it chordal information, and then it's affecting the vocal with that. And then there's also a drone vocoder, which is just taking the signal from the drone and doing the exact same thing, and they're panned slightly left and right. As I said, you've got the duplicates. Then you got these shouting ones, and so I've got these shouting ones, and I put auto-tune, a little alter boy on these to make them not sound like me. So these sound like this.
Everything will be okay.
So the left one is lower, I think. Yeah, so it's slightly lower. So I've taken the formant down, so it sounds like the tone of my voice slightly lower, and then the right one is higher. And then together. And with the auto-tune, they do not sound like my vocal whatsoever. So when you have... And then, what's the last one? Oh yeah, Keegan's harmonies, which sound like this. He'd probably give out to me for showing you those. But they sound so nice in with everything.
Everything will be okay. Take my word, it's gonna hurt, but it won't last too long.
Yeah, I really, really like how all those vocals sound together in the chorus. It really gives the chorus a really, really big kind of energetic feel. I suppose the outro, is cool as well. There's also harmonies here.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Keegan has this big note at the end.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Which he also does live, and he's a great man for hitting it. But yeah, is there anything else to show you? So yeah, maybe I'll just play from some sections from here where you got everything. So
taxis from your phone. The mind runs wild 'cause you
I have to remember now, this isn't mixed. This was pre-mix. This was like the production stage before we get into mic to mix.
Playing too much games. Your head is feeling heavy, but you say you're okay.
You hear those piano and glockenspiels coming in there with the guitars. And so maybe play some of the chorus.
Everything will be okay. Take my word, it's gonna hurt, but it won't last too long.
That'd be cool to like solo all the guitars and show you them. So this is what all the guitars in the chorus sound like together.
Everything.
And the bass. But yeah, like I've kind of gone through everything there. Like there's a lot of tracks in this song. It's probably one of our most produced songs. But yeah, loads. It was definitely one of the most fun tracks I had. I had fun making. But I might just build up the track from the bottom up from in the outro. So yeah, I'll just start with the drums and the riser. Bring in the bass. Bring in the guitar riffs. The acoustics. Heavy electrics. The as. Keys. The drones. Chris's vocal. And then yeah, all of that all together with my vocal as well sounds like this. Yeah. So yeah, that's our production breakdown of Everything Will Be Okay. This is my first time doing something like this, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it'd be cool for people to see it if they're interested. But if you are interested, let me know. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you have a YouTube account. But yeah, and let me know if you want to see more of these. I'll try and do one for each of the tracks that we've released this year as part of the Crazy How We Live Like This collection. And yeah, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again.